I just stumbled across a very cool website where you can find the very best cities to invest in real estate, which in turn are the best cities to wholesale real estate. Because usually, when you go on the internet and you come across an article or a website that talks about the best cities for rental property investors, those are probably the best cities that you can wholesale real estate because ultimately you are selling these properties to rental property investors, to flippers. And so by looking at these different websites, not only looking at wholesaling specific type of cities, you can find more opportunities to wholesale real estate, whether you're doing it virtually or in your own backyard. So I'm going to share my screen with you all. We're going to break down these different markets. I'm going to pop open my PropStream so we can look at the population size, look at how many distressed property owners are in these cities, and other determining factors to see if these are really the best cities to invest in real estate. So if you all have any questions, let me know down below. Subscribe to this channel and like this video. All right, so first you have this picture of this map, and what they essentially are doing, they're looking at what they call GRM, price to rent ratio in quarter 4 2024. So cities with a lower GRM often present better investment opportunities, because they suggest higher rental income relative to property prices. So it kind of looks at the 1% rule a little bit. So if you're considering doing long distance investing or long distance like virtual wholesaling, these are the best cities. And the thing is with wholesaling, when you do it virtually or do it in your own backyard, let's say you live in one of these cities, you're going to have California investors or other people from other cities where they have more money come to you to buy properties because they're looking for these type of cities to invest their money in. So over this article, they just talk about how home prices have went up $250,000 to $400,000. That's a lot of money in those few years. So, what is the gross rent multiplier? Um, it's actually one of the easiest concepts. So, essentially, it's just divide the price by the gross annual rent, and you get the ratio. So, price of the property divided by the gross annual rental income. It's very similar to the 1% rule, but if you buy a property for 150,000 and say it generates $15,000 a year, that's a 10. So lower is better, obviously, indicates higher rents and lower prices. And by the way, if we look at $15,000 divided by 12 months, that's 1250 a month. So 1250 is not at quite at that 1% rule because it's not 1% of 150,000. So the 1% rule, obviously, if you do $150,000, so if you do 15, I'm just doing 1500 times 12, so 18,000, you do 150,000 divided by 18,000, that's 8.33. So the GRM would be 8.33. So that's the range I would be looking for the most. So monthly rent, property, and just like that, you can determine things. So that should be 8 too. All right. Another way to think of GRM is the number of years it would take for a property to pay for itself in gross rent. Makes sense, right? So if you're getting $15,000 a year, it's going to take you 10 years to pay off that $150,000. And so GRM 4-7, excellent cash flow, good cash flow, average market conditions, boom, boom, boom. So they did 300 of the largest cities. Note that many smaller cities and towns in the U.S. have higher cap rates. These are simply the 300 most populated U.S. cities because, like, there are a lot of small cities that you can be like, wow, these margins are amazing, but people are not buying there, right? And so even wholesaling, it may not be as profitable in those specific cities. All right, so let's go down and look at the different cities they have. Let's really dig into them. Let's just look at this map for right now. So, for example, if you look at California, Santa Rosa, California, GRM is 22. So the median rent is almost 2,900, and the and the sell price, the home price is almost 800,000. So you see it has a high GRM of 22.9. So the darker it is, obviously the worse it is, right? The cash flow is not as good. And then the lighter it is, the better. So I'm just looking at these lighter towns. And so even if we zoom in more, there's some lighter towns in California. I mean, they may not be as good as the East Coast, but look at right here. For example, right here is one, right here. Did they let me highlight it? Let's try to, okay. So this is 15.5. So this is not bad. But I honestly think your best bet is to stay 10 or below. I think those would be the best cities. So this is crazy. So once I zoom in, they don't let me. Okay, they do let me do that. You just got to click it. Okay, so Odessa, you have 11. You have New Mexico at 15. You have Amarillo. Yeah, am I saying it right, Spanish speakers? Um, So you have a good amount near that 10, but I want a 10. So let's just keep on looking here and see what we find. Louisiana, okay. Shreveport, Louisiana. So you have it right here. This is 10.24, which is pretty good. You have the 10.7. Down here you have a 10, but I feel like these are prone to natural disasters. Natural disasters, you're right. And then we go here, Georgia, some places in Georgia. I'm trying to find if there's anyone under 10. Are there anyone under 10? Chicago is actually pretty good, surprisingly. Wow, look at this. Binghamton, New York, 7.57. You can get $2,000 per month for rent, and the median home price is 183,000, almost 184,000. Okay, so this is a town that we're going to check out right now on PropStream. So this is under that 10%. So this would be a good place that if you want to buy a rental, you can go here, or if you want to wholesale properties either virtually or if you live near this area in New York. And it's one of the top 300 largest cities in America, apparently, or 300 cities in the country by population. Okay, so we have Binghamton. So let's check out this city. All right. So there's 30,000 properties right away there. Okay. Interesting. Let's look at some more stats. Okay. Prices increasing. New listings are staying steady. List price, sell price. Days on market. What else do they have? Average days. Okay. Let's try to see. Let me see. Let's see how many people live in this. Okay, 46,000. So it's not a big city. But it's interesting that you can find these type of properties. Let's go to filters. Let's see how many tire landlords. So we have 7,200 tire landlords. Um, in here, let me see. All right, let's just show some residential properties. I just want to run through my own type of list. Um, non-owner occupied and it's vacant. Okay. Let's see at least 10 years ownership. 85. Let's just say any here. Let's just keep it large then. Any valuation and equity, estimated equity. We want at least 50%. All right, 50%. And then, yeah. So you have some properties right here with some information. And let's just click one of them. Let me see. Let's click this one. Let's just see comparables right here. Okay, so this is a really good. If you're interested in PropStream, check my link down below. You get a 7 free day trial. Use my link, by the way. And then let's see. They have monthly rent at 1,200 for this. Okay, estimated equity is one. So the rent is not 100% like that 1% rule, and things of that nature. But I wonder if you can go into here, valuation and equity. I wonder if there was a way that I can purposely check out the rent. You know what I mean? Like, I want the rent estimate to be 1%. I know I can go to valuation and equity and go, I want it to be, let's say, between 50,000 and 150,000 or something. Oh, estimated rental income. Let's go. Let's see. Let's see. Let's say I want to buy a house for between 50 and 150,000, but I want the maximum rent to be I want the minimum rent to be, let's say, 1,400. If I can do that, can I type it in myself or do I? Okay. Okay. So the estimated minimum rental is that amount, and the maximum estimated value is 150,000. So these properties hit the 1% rule. So, for example, if I click on this one right here, look at monthly rent is 143,000. I mean, 1,473, and the estimated value is 122. Wow, this is actually a really good tool. I didn't know I could do on PropStream. I'm going to use this a lot more right now. But this is amazing. This is pretty cool. All right. And so yeah, you can look at properties like that. So that's one city. Let's see what else they have on this thing. So they say the nationwide the average gross rent multiplier is 13.78 at the end of third quarter 2024. But of course it varies. 100 the top 100 fastest appreciating cities. So these are cities that are appreciating in values. Property taxes by county. You see, the darker it is, the more expensive it is. Look at Chicago. So freaking stupid. Okay, I shouldn't be saying stuff like that, but it's so expensive there. Yeah, I'm surprised California is not as high. Why is New York and Illinois and Texas, their property taxes are so expensive? And it's not like Illinois has no state income taxes, right? Or New York. I understand. Okay, Texas, they don't have state income tax. Property taxes are a little bit more expensive, but still, that's ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, those were some cities. Let's see if we can find another super light one. So Binghamton, New York is one. Utica, New York seems like it's another one. I can't believe New York has a good amount. Peoria, Illinois. Okay. Okay, this seems like a decent one. Let's see if we can find another one under 10. So we can hit closer to that 1% rule. It's going to be hard. Because I'm pretty sure that was the lightest one we saw. But anyways, this is a good website. I'm gonna leave the link of this website if you want to check it down below. But those were a few cities that you saw were lighter, and they had good rent to price ratio that you can look more into. If you all have any questions about PropStream or finding the best markets to invest in, please let me know down below, and I'll talk to you all later.